we're going to continue the tutorial series here since we got our project set up. And we will need some kind of system where we can create a Win32 window. This project here only supports Windows. Yeah, of course, if you wanted to do, well, DirectX 12 is only Windows for now. I heard rumors about it being on Mac as well in the future in combination with Metal, or rather as well as Metal. But yeah, I don't know whether that is true or not. We will do a set of wrappers for well, I think the preprocessor statement here already sets Windows, so every included header will have the Windows flag as well. So anyway, we will have to create something that can make our application run. We will do a wrapper for this in terms of a class, which we will call an application that you can maybe even, or would we like to call it application? Our application here will use our engine. Maybe we want an engine wrapper. Now we will make an application class. I'll try to initialize DirectX 12 as well. So that's the main goal of the whole tutorial series. I have to go do something in a couple of hours, so we will see how far we get. As mentioned in the description and previous parts of the stream, this stream might be segmented into pieces. The goal is to do an entire setup in terms of getting something up and running in DirectX 12. Okay. Oh, let's see. We haven't moved this application here. Let's see. Let's remove all of this. Since we don't need it, we will have our application here, which will use our YouTube API. And this will hold our sort of application stuff, which will handle our Windows stuff. Let's see, we will include this already. And we will also create a namespace in case we want to do something like an application that creates an engine application on the application side of things. That's a lot of application uses, as in meaning the word, but I hope you get the idea. So we will be using these namespaces to kind of make sure that we do not do overlapping classes. As mentioned, this is not a C++ tutorial, but it's good practice. Generally, we want our application to be something that we initialize and that we know is running, and we want to run it in the background. So therefore, our application will have some methods. We will allow it to be default constructed, since we don't care about the actual creation of the application, but we would like a initialization initialize function here. We would also like a flag in terms of a bool to check if the application is running. Yeah, so we will create a initializer function that creates our application. Right now in our application layer, we can actually create, and of course we have to use the namespace, so we can using engine, let's see, namespace. Remember only to do this in CPP files, and never in header files. You will enter a world of hurt. And we will call also, this should return a bool because we don't want to do anything in case we didn't succeed in terms of let's just return true if we ever reach the endpoint of this. And then we want to do something like if we succeed in initializing our application, we would probably like to run it. And therefore, we would also like a function that is called isRunning, which also returns a bool. We can do this inline, since it's not really much code. The compiler would probably inline it anyway. And we will simply return our flag. And we can simply do something like, if our engine is running, we do some stuff. This means that we can turn off the application by simply setting the flag to this flag to false. All right, great stuff. We would also like for our application to be doing something while it's running, and we will simply call this method update. So we will do this inside here, and basically we have a sort of a step to initialize a application, check that while it is running, that we update it. But right now, this doesn't do anything. It will probably compile just fine, but we would like to do something in terms of initializing something here. We would like to initialize a window. As you can see, right now our application is actually running, but it's not doing anything. It's just a blank terminal that doesn't do anything. Also, we will be setting up our feature set here, C++ 14. Yeah, I might upgrade it to C++ 20 down the line. But anyway, that doesn't matter too much. We want to create a window, I have a live stream in the YouTube archives from my DirectX 12 game from scratch series, where I go more into detail in terms of the Win32 API. I think that, well, maybe I'll do a couple of quick words uh, in terms of the Win32 API as a part of this tutorial series, since it's a beginner's tutorial. So the Win32 API is a classical Windows API that allows you to, as it is mentioned here, develop desktop and server applications. They can run on all Windows applications. Please note that DirectX 12 only runs on, I think it's compatible with Windows 7, but nothing earlier than that. So that's a restriction. From that. Yeah, so we can create windows with this API in our Windows application here, which is great for us. There are several macros included in our header file. Let's see. We will be using. Let's see. I always prefer to do the library header files here. In this header file, a lot of the Win32 API is declared. Let's see. We will use that and the Windows X header file as well, because it has some. Oh, okay. So it's only Windows 10 and 11. Sorry about that. This has some more macros that we might want to use. We will let the header files decide which of the macros we will use. To create a window, we simply use the create window macro. We need to specify a so-called class name, and it will take a pointer to a literal with the class name, which we will do like this. And let's do a base window class. We will have to give it a name, YouTube engine window, and we need to give it a style. Let's just do overlapped. You can always look at the documentation for different window styles. We want to put it somewhere on the screen in terms of X and Y offsets, and we want to create a screen with a certain size. Let's see, resolution here. Let's do this resolution, and we are allowed to assign it a parent. We won't be doing that. We're allowed to assign it a menu. We won't be doing that. we can assign it to a particular instance. We won't be doing that, and we can pass along a so-called L param. Um, I'll get back to this later on, but oh, I forgot to make it a literal here. So this is basically our method for creating a window. We will refer back to the L param stuff later. So right now we reference, let's see, this also uses the W version of things. And this returns a handle to a window. Which means that whenever this is done, we will have a handle to our window, which we can use for different stuff later on. Therefore, we will store that in a variable, and I think it's initialized as a null pointer. Whenever this function returns, which it no, not when it returns, but after the operating system has sent the correct messages to the newly generated window, whatever this is pointing to will be initialized. This means that when this function returns, it will not have a handle ready. The handle will be created afterwards. So when this returns, it will just point to somewhere in memory, and that memory slot will be filled by the operating system after it's done doing some stuff. Be mindful of that. This means that you cannot use this handle here, or rather expect it to be used properly after this function returns. As long as you know that, it's no problem. The pointer will be assigned. It will not be a null pointer in case, except if something fails, but it won't actually be a correct handle. Okay. This means that we can check if the pointer is not valid. And if it's not valid, we will simply return false because we didn't succeed in running our application. Now, we told it that we have a special class that we want to reference, but we haven't nowhere defined that yet. So that means that we have to, let me see, do that. We will use a so-called window class. Struct, which we will initialize as 0. And we have to specify some information. If we look up the Win32 structure here, we get the different member variables. I'm not gonna talk a lot about those. I think I did more in-depth review of these. Sorry, my headset is not great. It sometimes drops out. So, yeah, I did a more in-depth discussion of these parameters. I'll briefly go over some of them, but watch the game dev series in terms of creating a window. There's a live stream where I go more into detail available. Okay, we will set the style to null. We will set the let's see, the Windows procedure we will do later. We can set the class name as something of the like of one of the first parameters here. So now we start referencing this class here. This means that whenever we bind this class to the system, this will know what we're referencing. Let's see. We can set up a cursor. Yeah, the Win32 API allows you to load different cursors, even create cursors in resource files. If you ever programmed back in the day, you might remember that Visual Studio had a lot of templates for Win32 applications. It probably still does have, but it came with different resource files. It can also specify an icon. I won't be showing how to set up this because it's also something that you can look up on the internet, and well, I don't find it particularly interesting. If you're doing a game engine series, of course, or rather not series, a game engine, you might want to fiddle around with this eventually. But yeah, we will create a background color here, which takes an H brush, I think. Yeah, it's an H brush, which will simply be our color of our window here. 5, that expands to 5. I'm presuming that this is basic window color style. Next, we need to set up. Well, is there anything else that relates to our style or our actual appearance of our window? Well, no. Nope. Next, we specify some parameters that relates to the behavior of the window. We will set a we can set the pointer to our menu to 0. We don't specify a menu. In case you had a resource that would actually be a window, I think, a window inside a window that would provide the control for something like a menu. You could specify a pointer to it, but we're not going to do that. We can also assign a instance. Let's see. Yeah, if we have an overlying instance of our application, we can reference that. We don't have that. And now we're getting into parts where something interesting is about to happen. Because we have specified our appearance, our relations, and our overall naming of our window class, but there are still, excuse me, a few parameters left. There's something called a long pointer to a function called window procedure. And right now we will set it to null pointer because we need to talk a bit more about that. It's basically a callback function that a callback function to a function that handles different operating system messages. For instance, the message from the operating system to create a window inside Windows is actually a message. So, and after processing of several of these messages, the handle will be set when the window is, created. This function has a specific signature that we will return to. Anyway, we can actually store different information inside our struct here. We won't be doing that. These two parameters control exactly that. We won't be doing any of that since it's a way to do yeah. It's a way to make sure that the application has different bytes available that can always be accessed from the operating system or from the message system. And we won't be doing that. Anyway, if we look up the winproc function in the Win32 API, we see that it's a callback function which you define in your application that processes the messages. And it has the following signature here. Yeah. And it returns an L result. So we need to define something like this. And yeah, we will do that straight away. Let me see. Just it's nice to see that chat helps each other out. I will be doing specific questions at the end of this part of the stream before I end the video clip and do a new recording. Yeah. But yeah, this is a to C tutorial in terms of setting up DirectX 12 from scratch. We need to do our basic Windows stuff first, though. Yeah. But we will define the callback function. So the signature was something that returned an L result. We would like to be able to tell the compiler that this is a callback function that may have a certain calling convention. So we do that. Let's call this our window procedure. And if we remember correctly, it takes a handle to a window. And it takes a message it takes a W param, and it takes a L param. Now we can actually provide this function pointer down here. It should always return a value, and if a message doesn't get processed, we always return this call here, which simply handles our messages in the default way. Let's see, does it do anything particular? Okay, it's probably defined somewhere else. Anyway. Okay, the last thing we need to do is actually tell Windows that this class is available. We do that with the register class macro with a reference to our window class here. That expands to something that we can't see. Let's compile this. And right now you won't notice, but actually we do create a window. We could Windows does a couple of messages that we can handle. These messages are passed outside our actual window itself. You can look up the first messages of a Win32 window. This is the very first message that we ever get. So we can simply do something like, well, if we get this message, we do something. Yeah. And this will be coming in handy. Let's see. Can we do test? Wait a minute. We can also do like this. No, we can't. Okay. Let's see. I can never recall which header this is defined in. IOStream. Okay. IOStream. It's easier to work with that. See out. Created a window. Okay, we will write that out to our console as a proof of concept, and you can actually see that we created a window. But why is nothing showing? Well, let me tell you. It's because we need to call a show window function where we simply tell whatever handle to do this command. It's probably passing on a message. I don't know intricate details, and we also want to update our window, meaning that we want to give it a message of whoops, this update window, a message to repaint the window. And there we go. We have a window that really doesn't do anything, but at least it's a window. Let's see, we want to return that, of course. All right, great stuff. We've created a window. I think this will be the part where I end the recording and answer some questions or relate to chat. Because next we will be setting up more stuff related to the application, and we will soon be in a state where we can start setting up the DirectX 12 API. Yeah, but first let me just look through chat. Well, I guess we could do a compiler flag in terms of telling the build system that it's only for Windows. You could do that. If you wanted to. Yeah, Windows X has some more macro definitions that sometimes help out. Just check the door here. All right. I'm unsure what you mean about setting the input files. Oh, and I didn't know you could specify the flag. I'll probably have to divide it into several parts and therefore have to do a later stream with the rest of the tutorial here. So yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. Let's see. Yeah. Do you set it during the style, or do you set it during the flags, or rather the parameters, or where do you specify the flag? Let's see. Okay. let's just Google it. Create window flags with 32. Are there any flag? Oh, okay. So it's during the yeah, yeah. So you do a concatenation of flags. Okay. Well, I'll end the offline, or rather, the video recording here. Yeah, check in the next part of this live stream where we do some setup in terms of being able to do DirectX 12 initialization.